More than 50 countries across the world celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and I'm sure all of you too. St. Patrick's Day originated in Ireland. I interviewed my grandmother, Donna Henning, and my mother, Charity Garcia. I learned that I am German, Irish, and English on my grandma's side, and then on my mom's side, I am just English. I also learned that my grandma's side ancestors came over from Ireland in the early 1920s. I will be talking to you about the traditions/holidays, religion, and food. One tradition that is celebrated in Ireland is called the Little Woman's Christmas. I learned about this through my personal interview with my grandma Donna Henning. It originated when women took care of the homes and didn't have jobs outside of the home, and the men had the jobs. This is also known as Old Christmas. It takes place on January 6th every year, and the women go out and celebrate and take the day off while the men have to stay home and do the housework. Also, St. Patrick's Day is also celebrated. Now, this is not celebrated the same as it is in America. It is a religious holiday celebrating St. Patrick. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated to represent the strength and pride of Irish people in foreign lands. Then there is the early May bank holiday. This is celebrated on May 6th. This is a public holiday, and all schools and most businesses have the day off. Now, there are 3 other bank holidays that were put into place by the Bank Holidays Act of 1871 that are pretty much just days off to celebrate family and get the day off of work and stuff. They also celebrate Christmas, like most other countries. And they celebrate St. Stephen's Day on December 26th. People spend the day quietly with friends and family. Now on to religion. Ireland does have religious freedom based on their constitution, although 78.8% of Ireland is Catholic. The other percentages of the people are either considered no religion, which is 10%, and other religions like Eastern Orthodox and Islam and others, but those are all like really small percentages, like less than 1%. Now onto the foods. Based on my personal interview, my grandma said that corned beef is very popular in Ireland. We eat corned beef around every holiday, and it is personally one of my favorites. Also, they eat a lot of cabbage, which is also around the holidays for our family. Shepherd's pie is also another famous one in Ireland. We make it for dinners a lot of the time too. It's actually my favorite meal. In Ireland, like most countries, especially in the United States, there's an emphasis on the consumption of meat, cereals, bread, and potatoes at most meals. Vegetables such as cabbage, turnips, carrots, and broccoli are also popular with meats and potatoes. In conclusion, I taught you about the traditions and holidays, religion, and food that is celebrated and used in Ireland.
I interviewed my dad on our heritage, and he told me about how our ancestors were from Germany. He knew many things about this country, and they have similar traditions and things as the United States, as well as a lot of different traditions and holidays as well. And it's like right there. Oh, yeah. The main things that I'm going to be talking about are traditions, holidays, dress, and agriculture. Anyways. The traditions are carnival culture, which is a social expression of music, dance, costumes, basically like a big party for everyone. October 3rd is German Unity Day, which is a newish holiday that they've celebrated since 1990. And it's like for the removal of the Berlin Wall, which it was removed in 1989. And Some of the holidays that they celebrate is Oktoberfest, which many people take as a drinking holiday. Beer is very popular in this country. They celebrate Halloween, but they call it Fasching. It's like their type of Halloween on March 4th. They also celebrate Christmas like we do, although they have many religious holidays such as Whit Monday and Epiphany, which is on January 6th. And then Epiphany is known as the Three Kings Day, which marks the official end of Christmas in Germany. They only have one federal holiday, which is Unification Day. All of their other holidays are religious or Christian holidays. They dress typically as we do. There's not very much different. But their traditional dress is boys wear lederhosen, which are short leather pants, and women wear Dirndl, which, okay, I don't know how to say it, but it's a ruffle apron dress. And for agriculture, the main things that are grown in Germany are wheat, barley, corn, and sugar beets. The main foods that are popular and traditional in Germany are bratwurst and sauerkraut. And over 80% of Germany land is used for agriculture and forestry. And one of their main exports is German beer. And there's a lot of cars that are also made in Germany, like expensive cars, like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and the Porsche. And there's clothing brands like Adidas and obviously Birkenstocks. Yeah. In conclusion, Germany has many different holidays and traditions and different styles as we do, and also some of the same.
Today I'm going to be talking to you about my cultural heritage. I'm going to be telling you about the Native American heritage in me. I talked to my grandfather, and he said that his great-grandfather was a part of the Cherokee Native American tribe as a horse trainer. Also, the Cherokee tribes have many things that they celebrate, dancing, food, and celebration of holidays that I'm going to be talking to you about. First, I'm going to start with dancing. It is a very popular thing among many Native American tribes. The most well-known Native dance is the Stomp Dance. The term Stomp Dance is the English term which refers to the shuffle and stomp movements of the dance. In the Native Muscogee language, the dance is called Apikevo Hako, which can mean drunk, crazy, or inspired dance. This usually refers to the exciting yet meditative effective the dance at the medicine have on their participations. In the native Shawi language, the dance is called Nikawi, which refers to a dance involving friends, or Nikan. It is also called the leading dance by many Shawins, but most simply called the Stomp Dance. Next, on to food. Some of the Cherokee Foods, Cherokee people lived throughout the Blue Ridge and Smoky Mountains. The tribal diet commonly consists of foods that were either gathered, grown, or hunted. The three sisters, corn, bean, and squash, were grown, while wild greens, mushrooms, ramps, nuts, and berries were collected. Deer, bears, birds, native fish, squirrels, groundhogs, and rabbits were all hunted. In the pre-contact era, many meals were pot stews made over an open fire after contact. The tribe also began to grow fruits like watermelons and peaches to eat farm animals like pigs and chickens and cows. Cherokee food traditions not only teach you how to gather, hunt, and grow, but also how to store, preserve certain foods. Prior to the introduction of the meal cooking vessels made of clay, food was also sometimes buried in hot coals to cook. Now on to holidays and celebrations. The Cherokee also had many celebrations, but one stood out to me that is called the first moon of the spring festival, and another interesting one was the green corn ceremony. First, the moon of the Spring Festival held at the first moon in March, and the green corn ceremony held in 4 days in late June or early July. The mature green corn ceremony held by 45 days after the green corn ceremony. The Great New Moon Festival held around October marked the beginning of Cherokee New Year. Alright, in conclusion, I have told you just a little bit of my heritage out of the many. I have told you many interesting things that Cherokee tribes have done. I have told you about the same traditions. I've told you some of the traditions they have with dancing, the types of foods, and the holiday celebrations that they meet. Now I hope you learned something interesting about my family heritage and about Native Americans.
While we all know our names come from all over the world, mine is quite simple to figure out. With my last name being Taylor, I knew that I was of English descent. It is a very popular name and is known in history for many things. After interviewing my grandfather on my father's side, I was able to confirm that that was the case. Today, I am here to inform you on the country of England. It is located right here. And what the culture was like. In this speech, you will learn about England's culture through the personal interviews that I did on my family members, food, holidays, and lastly, religion. I first started this project by interviewing a couple of my family members. I chose to talk to my grandfather, Don Taylor, and my dad, Pete Taylor, while interviewing. And I'm glad I did because I found some interesting things that I probably would never have known without doing. While interviewing my grandfather, which would be the Taylor side, I found out that my ancestors originated from England. I also found out that Taylors practiced Catholic religion, and almost all of the men of the family farmed for a living at least at some point in their life, and most women stayed back home tending to the children in the house. When I interviewed my dad, I asked him questions that pertained to my grandmother's side of the family, the Price side. While doing so, I learned a lot because we are not as close to that side of the family as we are to the Taylor side. However, I found out that they too originated from England. I was told that the Price side didn't really practice a religion. However, my dad grew up Catholic and my grandparents were married Catholic. Also, I learned that many of the Prices hunted, as for my dad remembers going with his grandpa and uncles growing up. I decided to research England simply because a lot of my family came from there. According to my grandpa, he remembers when he was little listening to stories told by his grandmother, so my great-great-grandmother, about her grandparents that came to America from England. Unfortunately, he doesn't remember many details. Like many cultures, food is something that brings a lot of people together. In England, meat is something that is eaten at almost every meal, whether it is beef, chicken, pork. Meat is very popular to see as a main dish in England. Vegetables usually are consumed as potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. Fruit is also consumed, but in small portions. Many times, breakfast consists of hot cereals or toast. One thing that my grandfather did remember from talking with his grandmother was that they would eat oatmeal for breakfast, which makes sense because hot cereals still to this day are a popular breakfast meal. My grandpa mentioned that while growing up, his mom made different kinds of meat and rice because this was a cheap option to feed 11 children. Also, he said that they would milk the cows on the farm and just drink the milk directly after or put it in a container and refrigerate it. He actually will still make remarks today as to how the milk he drinks now is not as good as what it used to be. Many holidays that are celebrated in England are what many of us celebrate today. According to everyculture.com, the two most popular holidays that are celebrated in England are Christmas and Easter. Other holidays that are celebrated in England are New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, St. David's Day, which is celebrated on March 1st, St. Patrick's Day, Shrove Tuesday. I thought this was pretty cool because this holiday is practiced the day before Lent starts, allowing them to indulge into sugar because many people give up sugary items for Lent. Halloween is also celebrated along with Advent that is celebrated the 24 days leading up to Christmas. Many people that live in England are Christians. They attend services in a church on Sunday mornings and also they attend them on holidays such as Easter, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. My grandpa told me during the interviewing process that he remembers going to church on Sundays with his parents and siblings. He also remembers going to church on holidays all through his life. However, he did not go all the time as he got older because he said his dad needed him on the farm. On holidays, though, he always attended, even if the farm needed them. Today, I made you aware of some of England's culture by informing you on what I learned from my personal interviews, English traditional foods, their holidays, and lastly, the religion that they practice here. I hope that by doing so, you will know more knowledge of England and what their culture was like.